What up, YouTube? It's your boy Robski. It is March 5th, 2018, and boy, do I have a lot of subjects to cover. A lot of things going on in the NBA, Major League Baseball, and the NFL draft's been huge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the NFL draft and just kind of a couple things I want to go over with specifically the quarterbacks this year. First things first, I actually think that the best overall players are not, this is a great quarterback class that we have, but I don't think the best overall players are in the quarterbacking. I think the best overall players are on the defense, and then, of course, we have Saquon Barkley. I don't know if you've checked this guy out, folks, but this guy is a flat-out beast. He's got some Adrian Peterson type numbers. Ran the 40 at 4.4 seconds, bench press 29 reps, and weighed in at 230 pounds while doing all this. This guy to me is a can't miss prospect. I don't care what anyone says. If there is a team that doesn't need a quarterback, they really should go with this guy. I think he's head and shoulders above the rest. Now, there are other good running backs in this class, but Saquon Barkley, to me, is probably the best overall talent. And then there's a couple guys on their side of the ball, Griffin, Nick Chubb. There's a corner out of corner out of Ohio State that I hope my 49ers will draft. So there's a lot of things. This draft is probably going to be one of the most – every draft so far has been interesting, except for I think the one that wasn't interesting was 2013. Other than that, this draft is going to be – there's going to be a lot of things happening. I can just predict that now. And, the other player I forgot to mention was the lineman out of Notre Dame. He was up there with the top 3 best players overall. But anyways, let's go to the subject of quarterbacks. Point number one, and as you guys are well aware of, I listen to a lot of Colin Cowherd. I get a lot of my information from him specifically. I think he has the best talk show. Whether you agree with his views or not, whether you agree with his opinions or not, I still think that he is the most informative. Him and Clay Travis, to me, are the 2 best guys in that business. And then, of course, you got Doug Gottlieb, who's good. To my opinion, the top 2 guys are Cowherd and Clay Travis. What Colin Cowherd, though, is I disagree with him on his opinions with the quarterbacks. Colin Cowherd is all in on Sam Darnold this year. And I do not think Sam Darnold is the best prospect this year. I think by what we've seen so far at the Combine, by just personality-wise, Josh Allen, to me, has the biggest upside. I saw him here personally play Boise State, his last game against who did he play? I also saw him in the Potato Bowl here. Just absolutely killed it. But if you look at just the raw potential, Josh Allen blows all these quarterbacks out of the water. The big knock on him, well, he's a small school kid from Wyoming who had 56 completion percents. Let me tell you, though, I'm going to make this prediction right now. This guy is the next Carson Wentz. He's got Carson Wentz material written all over this guy. This guy has similar numbers, similar story, small town throwdown, tough kid. This kid is Cleveland needs to not mess around. I do agree with Cowherd with one thing, is Cleveland needs to draft a quarterback. They need to not mess around and draft Josh Allen. Now, Cowherd thinks they need to draft Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold decided not to throw at the Combine. And, Rich Eisen brought up a good point that he wants a kid that'll go anywhere, anytime. Anywhere, anytime. Josh Allen just killed it at the Combine. So to me, the clear-cut guy, the number 1 pick, is Josh Allen out of Wyoming. And another thing I disagree with Cowherd and some of the experts, is, oh yeah, let this Josh Allen kid, sit and learn. No, you do not do that. You put him in and start playing him right away. The reason why is because game experience is the number one. That you can do all the drills, all the practices, all that. The number one way to get better is to be in the game. Game, speed, game, scenarios. Okay, put them in, play them. Okay, people are talking, oh, we're going to sit them. No, you're going to put them in and you're going to play them. If I'm Cleveland, because this is what their mentality was. Oh yeah, we're going to, do all this analytics crap. We're going to not draft Carson Wentz, and we're going to, draft a veteran guy who wasn't any good, Robert Griffin, and then we'll, sit and wait this guy and develop this guy. No, you put him in the freaking game right away because they keep getting better. Even like with Carson Wentz year one, Carson Wentz was good out of the chute. He was making throws and everything, but he wasn't as developed as he was in year two. The reason why he went from rookie to MVP level is because of the game experience. The Eagles, what they did was they had a veteran guy in Sam Bradford, and they're like, well, they drafted Wentz, and they're like, get him out of here. Wentz is our guy. Okay. What Cleveland should do, draft Josh Allen, get all the rest of the crap out of there. All in Josh Allen. Okay. So what I like out of him, one, and I do think these little things matter. The kid's from Wyoming. This guy is old school farm boy tough. Okay. He's another Carson Wentz old school farm boy tough. Just draft the guy and move on. Okay. With the Giants, they're thinking, well, we're going to stick with Eli Manning, and we are going to draft a running back, which would be Saquon Barkley. I disagree with that. Giants should get a quarterback too. The Eli Manning thing is done in New York. Okay, that's over. Okay, I really believe they should be the ones to go with Darnold, because I think Darnold is the number 2 guy as far as these quarterbacks go. Things I like about Sam Darnold now, I don't know if this is an act, but one, the kid's from a small town in California, and he kind of has like he kind of understands the blue collar. He has blue collar answers, kind of has a blue collar mentality. I like him a lot better than Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen is kind of more of a, I don't want to say elitist, but he's a rich kid, plays tennis, and nothing wrong with playing tennis. Brett Elliott, who was a very good quarterback, was a tennis player, but he just kind of has a little bit of, I like Darnold and Allen got grit. They got a little more grit to them than Josh Rosen. Now, people might have said that about Jared Goff, and Jared Goff's had success, and I like Jared Goff. He seems to be a likable guy. But I think Josh Rosen to me is my number 3. Okay, now the 2 others. So this is what I have. I have Josh Allen number 1 by far, just because of his sheer athleticism. At the low end, he's Blake Bortles, but he's still going to have some success with the right people around him, just like Blake Bortles did. At the high end, he's got Carson Wentz, Ben Roethlisberger. That's who he is. That's who he reminds me of. So again, Josh Allen is number 1, clear cut in my case. This guy is the guy. Sam Darnold number 2. Sam Darnold's more developed than Allen, but Allen's got a way higher ceiling. But Sam Darnold, is good. I think Sam Darnold could be solid. Maybe another Carson Palmer type guy. Guy didn't have a great career, but solid. I think Sam Darnold's got a couple Pro Bowls, but I don't think he's he's not as unbelievable as Josh Allen. Number 3 would be Rosen, and I'm not going to lie, I'm not a big fan of Rosen. One, I don't like UCLA in general. I like USC is more of the tough guy school in California, not UCLA. UCLA is too soft, and especially that stuff they had going with the ball kids. I'm not a UCLA guy. So, but, Josh Rosen does have some good things. Got a good arm, got good accuracy. He didn't perform very well in the combine, but I don't think that's going to hurt him that much. Okay. Number 4, I kind of like that Mason Rudolph out of Oklahoma, but they're going to go with Baker Mayfield as the number 4. Colin Cowherd thinks that Baker Mayfield is an absolute bust. He thinks he's another Johnny Manziel. Baker Mayfield is so very similar to Johnny Manziel, but I don't think, according to sources, Johnny Manziel is more about himself and had mental problems. Baker is just very competitive. I think that Baker, if the demand wasn't so high for quarterbacks, I think he's a second rounder or a third rounder. But because it's so high, I see late first round. But even then, I think honestly, and I agree with Cowherd on this, I think it's too much of a reach. I don't got a problem with his height. I got a problem with his the system he was in. This is a good point. I mean, the Big 12 is not like the NFL. College isn't like the NFL, period. But I just, a lot of these Heisman players really aren't that great in the NFL. And he just doesn't have, I don't think you can mention him and Drew Brees in the same sentence. I don't think he's even close to Drew Brees. Now, Russell Wilson maybe. But again, it might be a little bit of reach with that guy. But I kind of like him. I kind of like him better than Josh Rosen, though. I just, like I said, the guy's got a little bit of fire, a little bit of grit to him that I like. So I think that, and somebody might want to take him over Rosen. I don't know. But I personally, I'm not a big, I think he's too risky. I think he's got more Manziel in him versus Russell Wilson. So I am not taking Baker Mayfield. But just based on supply and demand, Baker Mayfield will get drafted probably in the late first. And then the last guy I really want to talk about, and this might be controversial to some. It might be, since we're in such a PC, politically correct age, I like to talk about Lamar Jackson. Now, there's only one. First of all, this is what drives me crazy, is they've compared this guy to Michael Vick, and then they've brought up Deshaun Watson, okay? Deshaun Watson is not an elite quarterback. We have Colin Cowherd is all in on Deshaun Watson as being a franchise player. Should he have been the first quarterback selected in last year's draft? Yes. Should he have gone to the Browns? Yes. Does he have a lot of attributes? Yes. But here's the deal. Okay, Cowherd is all in on Deshaun Watson. He's only had 3 or 4 games, and he's looked good. And like I said, this might, hurt some of your feelings or whatever. I don't care. Quarterbacks like that, the NFL eventually figures them out. It's the same thing with Michael Vick. And that's another player that, Lamar Jackson's been compared for. Michael Vick, okay? Michael Vick was not a good quarterback, okay? Michael Vick was a great athlete who eventually got figured out, okay? NFL doesn't take long to figure out quarterbacks like that. They either get hurt because they run all the time and, they don't have the skill set, okay? The guy that Lamar Jackson has Robert Griffin III written all over him. Robert Griffin III written all over him. Okay. And here's why. One, Lamar Jackson didn't run the 40 in the draft because he was stubborn. He was like, yeah, I'm just going to play quarterback. Okay. Look at Terrell Pryor. Okay. Terrell Pryor understood himself. He's like, I'm not a quarterback. And he switched positions, and he had some success. Terrell Pryor had more success as a wide receiver than he did as quarterback. He's not a quarterback. Okay, and if you want to throw the race card into me and do, Rob, whatever, a great example is Tim Tebow. And it's funny because I was a Tim Tebow fan as well when he first came up. But Tim Tebow was not a quarterback. Tim Tebow had very little success. But eventually, the reason why Tim Tebow worked because the NFL wasn't used to seeing that style, but eventually they would have figured him out. Now, granted, Tim Tebow did have that great game against Pittsburgh, but that's such a small size that he wasn't a quarterback, and he could have probably played a different position because of his athleticism, but because he was stubborn, that's why he's playing baseball, which is awesome because I love baseball. But getting back to Lamar Jackson, the guy doesn't process plays well. When he got up against any sort of competition, he couldn't complete passes. And like I said, this whole Heisman thing, it's a bunch of bullcrap. It's just like a college degree. It's like, yeah, here's your trophy. Now, welcome to the real world. Okay. Now, does Lamar Jackson have potential to be a good quarterback? Yeah, I mean, he's a Heisman Trophy winner, okay? Maybe Robert Griffin had potential, okay? But more times than not, if you look percentage-wise, Akili Smith, Robert Griffin III, that Ward guy, more quarterbacks than not like that fail in the NFL. Quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson fail more than they succeed in the NFL. And again, there's always outliers, but, that guy he's got a long ways to go. If I'm a general manager, I am not, if Lamar Jackson's like refusing, say, hey, I'm just quarterback, I'm going to be stubborn, I'm like, okay, sounds good. I would pass on that guy until the 6th or 7th round. And then I might give him a shot. But again, just the way that when he was up against good competition, his playing style, he has a lot of things going against him. And they made a good point too. It's like, well, the reason why that he was effective is because he had those legs. So when you take those legs away, it's like, well, we're going to try to develop you a pocket passer. The catch-22 is when they try to develop him into a pocket passer, that's what takes away his ability. That's what takes away what made him great. So, it's a catch-22. Because if you say to him, well, Lamar, we just want you to be a pocket passer, then he's not going to be good because he's not a pocket passer and he's not an NFL quarterback. Bottom line. Okay? So that's my take on that. Again, Lamar Jackson, great athlete, great talent, but, people are like comparing him to Michael Vick. Well, that's not a good comparison because Michael Vick wasn't any good in the NFL either. Okay? He wasn't good. It has nothing to do with race because if he would be more compared to, say, Donovan McNabb, Warren Moon, even Cam Newton, which I've been a big, Cam Newton against Cam Newton. I thought he was one of the most overrated quarterbacks. If you look at this last game, Cam Newton played quite well as a quarterback, as a passing quarterback. But I think that, honestly, I think Cam Newton's on this downslide. I think he peaked in 2015. When you get to that age, you've been in the NFL for 5 years, you've run, you just lose a step. And, Cam Newton is not, as far as within the pocket, in my opinion, Cam Newton's not even top 10 in the league. So, that's why I think he's overrated. But again, comparing Lamar Jackson to Michael Vick should not be a compliment. Michael Vick was not a good NFL quarterback. I don't know if it matters or not. Lamar Jackson's, accomplished more in his athletic career than I ever will. Won the Heisman. I mean, that's, I'm not going to win the Heisman. He's going to get paid regardless. He's going to get paid just like Griffin did, I mean, I'm not going to hate on that. Yeah, he's better. Whatever. But I'm talking relativity. If I'm an NFL scout, I'm not gonna do it. If I'm a general manager, I'm not gonna do it. He's not gonna be my quarterback. Okay, so we have that out of the way with the NFL draft, and I just wish I would know. I'm going to start researching these other players because I think that especially the defense. I'm really excited some of these defensive players. The kid out of Ohio State looks good, and I'm just more excited about. I like defensive players anyways, and I think there's some great talent in this draft as far as the defensive side of the ball, and then of course the running back Saquon Barkley, the kid out of Miami. Let's go to thing number 2. I think that this. I don't really like NBA that much, but I'm really happy. I've heard a lot of talk on the radio about the one and done rule, NCAA. Should kids stay in college? All that crap. Okay. Here's the bottom line. The bottom line is that we are in a free market society. Okay. So if there is an individual that can make money and skip going into debt, it is un-American. Just like that Klatt guy, I agree exactly what he said, is un-American to force them to go through a system where they don't get paid directly. Now, these athletes, the NCAA, I don't feel sorry for them. They got a good deal. They got a better deal than 95% of the students there. I mean, I'd kill to be an Division I football, baseball, or basketball player. But they really need to get rid of the one and done rule because, with all the scandal, it's just, it's going to keep happening. People are going to get what they're worth. And that's why communism doesn't work. And that's why we are in a free market society. That's why we'll always be in a free market society, and capitalism will always win because people are going to get what they're valued at. I've learned this. I've learned this as an adult, and it's just how it is. So if there is a kid in high school, 16, 17, and he can get drafted to go to the NBA, he should be able to do so. He should have every right to be able to do so. If he can go and get drafted and go to war, he should be able to go and get drafted and go to the NBA. So, again, that's not the NCAA's fault. It is the NBA, but eventually you're going to get rid of that rule. And, again, I'm glad that this is happening. I'm glad the NCAA is getting exposed because, you see all these – and I have liked college athletics. I've always loved the March Madness, the NCAA tournament. But anybody who says that, college kids work hard, the NFL guys or professional guys, bullcrap. Anybody that says that, I like, college because it's just about the purity of the game, that's another bullcrap statement. They're not student athletes. They're athlete students. Okay, some of them. The ones that have pro potential, they're athlete students. Okay, I've been in the business. It's even at the Division III level, We had guys go in and take classes for football players because when you're on the football team in college, it's an 8-10 hour job. Okay, so it's just so I'm glad that this is brought up because I felt like when I graduated at college, I felt ripped off. I felt cheated. Okay, now it is my fault that I chose the major I did and that I chose the path I did. But again, it's, you have all these opinions coming in and then you have the facts and then you have reality. Okay. So again, the NBA needs to get rid of the one and done, say, let people to get drafted out of high school. And the NCAA, and like I said, people just need to be more aware, kids that get scholarships or, go to college and they need to see that as a privilege and not expect, just because you get a scholarship, doesn't mean you're going to go to the NBA or a Major League Soccer, or Major League Baseball, or NFL, or anything like that. You need to play for your college because you like the college and you like the sport and you want to play for your college, nothing more, and not expect anything more. Because there are other alternatives. If you're strictly on setting on playing professional, you don't have to go to college to do that. Even in football, you can make the argument of, well, you can go to arena leagues or you can go do that. I mean, it all comes down to, and this has to do with any job, and this is the secret. This is why you don't need college. Is if you can, it's pretty simple. This is what I learned. If you can provide a skill that somebody wants and needs, and they will pay you for it, that's the end of the equation. They're not going to pay you any more or any less because you have a piece of paper. They're going to pay you what your skill is worth. And I'm going to be honest with you right now. I mean, I'm taking these tests. I'm actually going back, but I could have made it with just a high school degree. I'd be thriving if I just had a high school diploma right now because I won't be in the debt that I am. So those are my takes on that. Now that we have that out the way, I don't want to get too long-winded. I had some great trips recently. I want to do some more, go back to more of the nerdy side of life and start doing reviews. This Disney butchering Star Wars is almost as bad as that one idiot who butchered the Dark Tower movies. So I want to go into that. A couple of good game reviews, but mainly, right now I'm sticking with sports. So anyways, once again, this is Rob. It's been nice talking to you, and I hope everybody out there in YouTube land has a great day. Bye-bye.